Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, the last Monday show that we are going to have for a long time. So, I know, Leanna's like, thank fucking...
It's been
right?
how many years of getting up early on a Monday?
Why do you punish me when a master set me free? So now I'm going to let you free.
I mean, all that crying in the shower for so many decades.
I know, Leanne, it's terrible, right? Anyway, no, we still have our one live show week, which will be 3 hours. That starts from next week, and it'll be on Fridays, so it'll help you get into the weekend vibe and all the rest of it. Lots and lots of fun. I'm excited. I can't wait, and I think you will be happy too when you see what happens. Congo Chris on the money saying good morning to the final Monday. Bitcoin Bot saying good morning. Hopefully you have a better week than Gayton. We've got to get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually got quite a lot to say, and I didn't think I would. You know, because...
Is it the racism allegation?
Yeah, I just think that's just so uninteresting. Yeah, but it is. I mean, you know, it's amazing how much power we give certain words. We create like magic around them. Abracadabra. Wingardium Leviosa.
Yes.
That kind of shit. And that's what we're doing with the K word. We are giving it all this power. Now, if you use this word, that is between you and God. We can't tell what's in your head, right? Gayton McKenzie, from what I can tell, is very much like every other South African I know. He harbors all kinds of prejudices and preferences, which is not unlike every other South African I know.
Everyone's got an opinion.
And if you're brave enough, you'll go on social media and you'll say what you think, and people will call you all kinds of names in return. But it seems like we've attributed such power to this K word. It doesn't deserve it. It's not magical. It's not special. It doesn't grant the person who hears it or the person who says it any power. It's not very pleasant, but neither is fuck. And yet we are now quite used to hearing that. And unless you've grown up in a very, very conservative household, you will have heard a lot worse than fuck.
Yeah.
You know, and this is the nature of the world too. We must not make people so brittle and weak and feeble that if they hear a word, they crumble. And I don't know who these people are, because I've never met a black person who, once you say the K word or you hear the K word in their company, they just fizzle and pop and fall apart like the Wicked Witch of the West in Wizard of Oz, you know? Like, they just carry on with their day. They're not necessarily going to be thrilled to hear it. But then I hear lots of terrible things people say to each other. I've heard men calling women bitches. I've heard horrible things that we shouldn't have to hear. But we're not so advanced that we're not going to encounter people who don't like us for some reason. Could be your skin color, could be your intellectual output, could be your lack of, or perhaps your abundance of sporting prowess. Could be anything. There are lots of people in the world who are going to dislike you. I'm certainly not going to climb on the Gayton McKenzie defense bandwagon, because he's the leader of a small party I didn't vote for. I happen to think that Gayton is one of the ministers who gets shit done. I happen to like his don't give a fuck attitude. I happen to think he's quite brave and has stood up to a lot of nonsense. But there's a group of people in this country who think if they can catch you saying the K word, that they can bring you down.
Yeah.
And I think those people need to be reminded that they're not that powerful and the word isn't that magical. And so what? This guy's a minister. I hope he just shrugs it off and carries on with his day. Like, the best thing you can say to someone who's upset by something you've said is, I don't care what you think of me. Like, I'm not going to wake up tomorrow morning and immediately go, oh, I hope Leanne thinks I'm nice.
Well, that's not going to happen, is
No,
it?
but I mean, I happen to like you and think your opinion matters. But even if I didn't, you know, you'd still have a better chance than 99% of people. So some people on the internet are pretending to be outraged. Like, they've never seen or heard that word written or spoken before, and it's going to destroy them. They're going to melt away. I don't believe you. I don't believe anyone's that upset by it. I really don't. I think it is performative bullshit that people are all cross. Anyway, that's all I've got to get off my chest. So Herman Peter Cook said, you spoke about radio being dead in your previous show. Do you know that your old colleague Barney Simon still has a 3-hour show every week? It starts at 1800 every Sunday until 21. I saw Barney at Darren Scott's memorial.
Yeah.
And Barney looks the same.
Oh, really?
He looks exactly the same. And I follow him now on I think it's Instagram and Twitter or one of the two. And he posts some hilarious stuff. So he's great. I can understand why he's still working in radio. He's really good at it. And he's got the personality and he's got the charm and he's got the knowledge of the music. And he just loves it. He's so good at it that I don't doubt that people love listening to him.
I can't believe that. I mean, it sounds a bit creepy now, but in retrospect.
Yeah.
But I remember lying in bed must have been from primary, must have been early high school.
One of your swinger stories?
No,
Oh,
early
okay.
high school.
Sure. All right.
With my Walkman, listening to Barney Simon's bedtime stories.
Uncle Paul's bedtime stories, I'll
Yes.
have you know. He had a guy called Uncle Paul who would tell these scary stories. God, it was good. Gareth, did you ever think about joining him at Jacaranda like in the good old days? No, I mean, you guys have got to get on with this. Like, nostalgia is the most pointless of all exercises. I appreciate that this is something people might enjoy, but it's never going to happen. I don't want to work in radio ever again. It's done. Chapter closed. I think we had the most, and Leanne will back me up on this, I'm pretty sure. We had the most wonderful time. We were there at the best possible time to have a radio show.
Yeah.
We kicked ass and took numbers. We had more audience numbers than anybody else. We were making so much money at the SABC for the SABC. We didn't necessarily make that money, but it was fun. It was really cool. We pushed every envelope we could. We tried new things. It was an exciting time in South Africa to be in media, and you cannot repeat that. It's done. So you got to move on from it. I don't have time in my life for nostalgia.
Yeah. Yeah, talking about magic and things like that. And revisit. You can't recreate that, and you wouldn't want to.
No. I mean, part of the reason I still like having a show where you're there to have fun with me is because it's evolved. It's different now. We talk about different things. We're interested in different things. I hope the audience has evolved too. You know, a lot of the things that we discuss now are things that 15 years ago, 10 years ago, we would have never ever discussed,
or it would have just been boring.
got into. Yeah.
Just
So it's different.
different audience completely.
Goodbye for ever early Mondays. I shall now regress into a lump that wakes up 30 minutes before needing to go to work. This is from Congo Chris. Okay, well, listen. It suddenly occurred to me that this has been so unnecessary, this early waking up thing. I mean, you know, when your alarm goes off at 4:30, and it's not because your boss wants you there at 6 or because you need to be there at 6 because there's a schedule and there are other shows and you have to fit in with that. It's not because the sun rises at 6 because it doesn't.
It's not because you need to read a news bulletin at 6.
And it's not because I care about traffic or what's going on the road, because people listen to podcasts all over the place, live or recorded. So this was a self-imposed, I always call it a rod for my own back. It's like a stick that you would hit yourself with, like those flagellants in the Middle Ages, you know. Oh,
Catholic priests would use them,
Why am I doing this? And there we go.
Yeah.
Common Sense says the S word is SARS. Listen, we don't need to get into them today, but I saw a clip from Summer, who's a guy we're working with at the Truth Report and who has been doing video uploads for, I don't know, just over a year now. And he went hard at SARS. And I got so cross listening to it because he did a really good explanation of how the tax system works and how the Reserve Bank works and kind of how our money is being used against us by this government. And it just put me in a foul mood. So the less we say about SARS, the better. Oh, look at my desk. It moves so much. See that?
Wow, it looks like you're on a ship.
It does. Look. Wait.
Here's your pirate voice.
That's great.
On these rough seas.
By the way, James is not here. He's in Jeffreys Bay with his folks. So we got Ketsi who produces. Thanks, Kets. He produces the Shady podcast, and he's
Right.
here this morning bright and early. How do you like this waking up? He says it's terrible.
He can say that
Yeah.
because he doesn't have to
It's
be
so
here
bad.
next week.
Letukolo says, top of the morning. And Max says, bullshit, G, we'll be doing it for our whole life, and this is how it ends sad. What? Paying taxes?
Or getting up early.
Yeah, well, I figured that I actually still wake up early the rest of the week, but not 4:30 early. And if you've got stuff to do, you get up. But I don't understand. Oh, look at that. Who are we talking to? Was there someone there? Is it a ghost? Okay. Sorry, I saw something happening on the screen. Leanne, you're looking very pretty today. Are you going for an interview, says Mike, because you dressed up?
An interview.
Yeah. That's always what people ask. They asked me on Friday. I was dressed in a suit, and everybody's like, are you going for an interview?
Oh, you had a women's day. Did you
I
speak
had
about
my
women's
breakfast.
sports?
I didn't speak about women's
Your
sport,
love for women's sport.
but I did talk about how we're entering an era now of results as opposed to vibes. Like, that's what's changed. And we need to get into that. And a lot of people, you could see, were shifting uncomfortably. I mean, listen, if you invite me to speak at something, I'm not going to waste your time and just say, ladies, you all look so beautiful. Happy Women's Day, and all the shit that they're going to hear from everyone else.
Yeah.
Otherwise, get those people. Hire someone who's sweet and lovely and absolutely kind and gentle and on the money with pleasing everybody, trying to please everybody. Get those people, because there are lots of them. I mean, they're a dime a dozen, so go for it. But if you ask me to speak, I'm going to think very hard about saying something that's going to make an impact for you, that is relevant to you. Otherwise, don't ask me. And I didn't do this one for money. It was it's for a good charity, for starters, the Smile Foundation, who I've been working with for years. So I wanted to do it for them. And it looked like a really cool crowd. I mean, there were a lot of people there, and it was a beautiful breakfast. There were, I saw John Flismus there, Loyiso Bala,
I see
the
Loyiso
Miss
often.
World South Africa. Where do you see Loyiso?
He is an ambassador for one of the brands that I work with.
Yeah,
So I see him often, and he's just so lovely.
such a nice guy. Yeah. He's such
if
a
you're
top guy.
talking about that person who's always nice,
Yeah, he
him.
genuinely is. He's not
Yeah.
like putting on a show. People really like him because he's just so nice. And there were, I'd say, probably about 200 women there at this breakfast, from all kinds of industries, backgrounds, jobs, lines of work, everything. Shame, the woman who came on, Loyiso sang a song after I did my thing, and then there was a woman coming on to talk about perfumes. And on her way up the stage, she fell.
oh,
And she fell on her face and
oh,
had a blood nose and everything. I felt so cuck for her.
oh, wow.
Yeah, it was so shitty. I mean, so I ran and got some napkins, because what else are you going to do? And then I got the hell out of there, because I don't like those situations. You know me. As soon as I hate it when women cry,
Makes you
or
very
they hurt
uncomfortable.
themselves, or they get hurt. I try to be useful, like physically useful, as in, what can I get you? Do you need ice? Do you need a towel? What do you need? But then I don't want to be there for the tears, right? So I just get out. I'm like, I don't want to. I cannot make myself any less comfortable than if I'm sitting right next to a woman who's bawling. She didn't, by the way, but I knew something was coming.
Yeah,
It's so awkward.
yeah, it's very awkward. I've told you about a friend of mine who, when he picked up a girl for a date,
Yeah.
he drove up to the complex where she stayed, and she was on the second floor.
Yeah.
And as she opened the doors and started walking down to the car, she took a tumble and ended up in a little pile on the floor. And he just drove away and ghosted her. He was like, there was no way that I would ever fall in love with that woman. I just had to go.
But it could happen to anybody, right?
I mean, it sounds awful. I
It is
hope she was okay.
But I think if I were her, I'd prefer it that way.
I would too. I would be like,
okay, I'm
just
going back
because-
inside. I'm going to put on comfortable clothes. I'm going to sit and cry. Like, that's what I would imagine she might have done.
Oh,
She doesn't
my
want
gosh.
him to see her makeup's all smudged and she's got a blood nose because she fell on her face and bruised all over and her clothes are torn. And
I mean, it wasn't a gentlemanly
no.
thing to do, but you kind
no,
of
he
get
did.
it.
He did her a
You
huge
kind of
favor.
get it.
No, he did the right thing. He did the right thing.
Oh,
Would you
gosh.
want, Ketsi, you're new to the show here, but I need to know this about you. If you were on your way to pick up a girl and she fell down the stairs,
First date, by the way.
yeah, first date, would you just get the hell out of there? You'd leave. Yeah,
Yeah.
he'd leave as well. See? Not just me.
Save her the embarrassment.
Yeah.
It's
I think
actually
it's kind.
It's actually quite kind.
And you know what you do? Like, you send her a message, because this is now how most people communicate anyway. You send her a WhatsApp, because you see it. She knows you saw it. No point in pretending it didn't happen, but you don't have to be there to, like, make her remember. Send her a note saying, hey, I'm so sorry. I saw you take a tumble. I saw that we were not going to go on our date. And I wasn't going to come and embarrass you and try to help you where you obviously got up, you were fine. But it was too embarrassing to deal with. And I thought, leave you to have a good night at home and I'll send you some flowers or whatever. Or you send her a nice meal the next day.
Oh,
with-
no.
No,
Oh,
you
no.
do something. You think of something generous to do.
A home cooked warm-up meal for one.
Oh, well, or maybe that makes you feel like a hospital patient. I don't know. Maybe some kind of package of cool stuff.
Like a first aid kit.
Well, and you could include that, but it would be a big.
A commode.
A bit,
A commode for her new life in the shower. She can no longer stand.
maybe you send her your GP to do a house call. Oh my God! All right, let's see. Didn't the guy you interviewed the other day also take a tumble? Vyasan. Who was that? Did someone here fall? Oh no, that was Stefano. He was in the tumbles ad. Quite right. Now Bitcoin But says if you save the lady, you'll get lucky. That's possibly true, but I think the way Leanne described it, he was driving in, and that's when she came down the stairs. It's not like he was at the bottom and could catch her, and, in this romantic gesture, pick her up and say, "I caught you."
But he knew it was his biggest ick in the world.
Oh,
And that he could never come back from that and find her
Sure.
romantically attractive again.
okay, yeah. I think everybody falls, so I wouldn't hold it against her. That's mean of him. Did he think she was just a clumsy person?
Yes.
and this would
He
happen?
wasn't the nicest person, I'll have you know.
Okay.
But yes.
All right. Save the lady, you'll get lucky. Send her a helmet, says Russell. That's a good. Send her like a bike helmet. Yeah, nice. Just tell her a bit of poo came out because you were laughing so hard and you couldn't go out like that. Okay. But how's your hip, by the way?
Oh, all good. I've almost forgotten about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's-
I'm just waiting for it to, as Steve Carell put it, start squeaking because he's got the same ones as me.
Steve Carell also got. Oh,
Yes.
right.
And because you've got an option of two. Well, as he puts it, he was already in the cap and going into surgery when the surgeon said to him, okay, you've got two options. And he was like, we've been talking about this hip op for months. And on the morning of the surgery, you're telling me I have to choose between two options. He said the one doesn't last very long, but the other one squeaks sometimes. So he said, no, look, I'll take the squeaky one because I don't want to do this in the near future.
So those last longer.
Yeah, they last longer, but they can develop a rather loud squeak. In fact, my surgeon said his golfing buddy, who he had operated on, did come to golf the one day with a rather loud squeak. But it does go away, apparently.
That's so terrible. All right, we'll get into what we did over the weekend in a moment. Gavin wants to know, morning. I'm still waiting for some podcast or YouTube suggestions to keep me company while I get the kids and the shit done in the morning. Okay, let me just go to my phone because I do have some ideas. Oh, Dan Snow, who does a history podcast, is doing this awesome guide to Europe at the moment. So if you like travel or you're interested in travel and history, that's one to put on your list. The Shits and Gigs guys who are actually coming to South Africa, they're pretty
Oh,
cool.
are they?
Yeah.
I absolutely love them.
Yeah. You listen to them?
Yes.
I just love that lingo that they use
Yes.
in kind of South London. You can hear it. You know,
Nah, bruv.
Yeah, right,
Yeah, bruv.
Yeah, it's so good.
Nah, bruv.
So they do that, and that's a fun show. I mean, the one I listened to last week was the most embarrassing thing you've been caught doing, and they have people like send in their most embarrassing things, and it is very, very funny. I listened to Bill Maher's Club Random. Often he has really interesting guests. He had Billy Joel on the other day, and it was just such a great interview. I think I've spoken about that already. Then there's, let me just see. There's a lot of political ones here that I wouldn't suggest because they just depress me, so they'll do worse for you. I've mentioned Hardcore History by Dan Carlin, but he does like one episode every 6 months now. So if you're looking for a daily thing, that's going to drive you crazy. What else? There's Blind History's coming back.
Yes.
We've recorded the first 3 episodes already. So we're going to be doing a few of those. And I'm really excited. We've got a couple of other good shows coming up here. And if you haven't listened to Kate Turkington's new show, you might want to check that out too. That's very cool.
There's they're just making a few little clips where they're using AI for a dog who's doing a podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just little clips where he'll say something and then they end up laughing.
We've got
interviewing a cat.
We've got an AI host for one of our new shows, which starts soon, which is going to be a daily show with a betting company. And we had the option of getting a real person or having an AI host, and they were like, "No, let's try the AI host." And I'm excited. Let's see how that goes.
Have you received a phone call yet from an AI bot thing?
They may as well be AI. Probably somewhere in India, but they sound like they could be or should be AI. I'd probably understand them better.
Yeah.
You know what happened here in the office
the other
day?
I started conversing for a little bit.
Oh, shame, and you didn't realize it was a machine.
Yeah.
You know what happened here the other day? Wendy, who works in the office, he was calling everybody on their phones and then playing animal noises. Like good old prank calls from like the 1980s, you know? That was actually fantastic to see. And he was pissing people off because he'd call from an unknown number and then they'd answer. And mine, when I answered, was like a donkey going, oh, oh, oh. So I kind of thought that's really childish and stupid. But then afterwards I thought, no, this is where the genesis of fun calls came from. You know, this is where all the good stuff started when I was a kid. And I have no problem with it because it's still like one of the cheapest bits of fun you can have with your work colleagues. It's just to phone them up and make animal noises. It's so great. Elephants, lions, donkeys, any kind of noisy animal. Did you guys also get this? Did he do it to you? Yeah, everyone did. And then apparently they caught him out, but he was doing it to everybody. It's so cool. I just love it. Yeah, I hope he does it again. Okay. Let's just see what else is going on in the comments here quickly. Look out for my podcast as well, 404 Human Not Found, says Tubble. All right, I hope you're not kidding, because that's actually quite a cool name for a podcast. Carl says, I get those robot calls and then I shout, "Poos," really loudly in my office, and then everyone else in the office is concerned. Yeah, the AI calls are going to become a thing. Although I saw such a cool ad the other day where a dude and a robot were dancing together, like doing the same moves. I don't know if they had to AI generate the robot dancing or whether it was an actual robot that could do the moves, but it looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I thought, it doesn't bug me. I mean, for Blind History, for example, we're talking about doing AI intros to the episodes, which will look like historical reenactments.
Yes.
Except you don't have to have like nerds in suits of armor
In a field somewhere.
going, "Oh." You can actually have like a properly conceived, scripted prompt of this perfect, like real life action representation of a battle, for example. I think that could be
Amazing.
quite fun. So I'm not worried about that. Bread is life, the shit we eat from Sasko. Don't lie, Gareth. There weren't phones in your youth. You did prank smoke signals. Listen,
There
dude,
certainly were
we
phones,
had-
but they were tethered to the
they
wall.
were landline phones, and that is where you learn the best phone calls because you don't have caller ID or any of that shit. You get to really mess with people.
And you could just dial a random number and it would work.
Yeah, and you make up really stupid names like what were all the really dumb names like I'm trying to think now and then none that come to mind. But you know where you put initials next to a surname and it I chi ass.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like stupid names that you make up, and then you know
Like
the chemist,
Mike
for
Hunt.
example, Mike Hunt. Hi. Is that the pharmacy?
Mr.
Yeah.
Hunt.
Yes, hello. I just wanted to know if I could get something to treat my wife. Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, she's got sore tits. Huh? Her tits are sore. Huh? Who is this? You go. It's Mike Hunt, and you put down the.
Yeah.
And as a kid, it's like the most exciting thing ever, right?
You
and
would
I
do it
still
on
think
school
there's a place
holidays
for
when
it,
your
yeah.
parents weren't there.
Oh yeah, all
And then,
the time.
all the arguments about the phone bills, always.
Always, but it was worth it.
And also that you couldn't take a call privately.
Oh.
You know, the
Let's
phone was
take it
like in the lounge.
Yeah, or the entrance hall or wherever it was. And if a girl phoned, you know,
The whole family would be
it's
listening.
Gareth, it's for you, and then everyone would like listen in. It was so
Or
embarrassing.
they'd pick up on the other line.
Oh Jesus. Anyway, you see, kids now, they have it easy.
I've just had a flashback. I remember
What?
being in, again, high school or primary school, and the phone would ring at night once we'd all gone to bed.
And was it someone?
It was someone asking for me.
No,
But it was a man.
a man.
Yes.
Who was this?
My
Leanne?
dad would answer, and he was very distressed about it. It happened for about 2 weeks.
Would he go? Hello.
Well, I think
Is Leanne
my
there?
dad probably protected me from the worst of it because
Well,
I
but
never answered.
How would he have known about you? And how would he have got your number?
No idea.
We had phone books in those days. Do you remember phone books? So maybe they just looked you up.
Well, it wouldn't have been my name.
It would have probably been some guy from school. Was it while you were still at school?
Yeah, I was in primary, like standard 5.
Maybe it was a dad of one of the kids at school who took a liking to you.
Scary.
Some creepy dad.
Uh,
Yeah.
very strange.
Mr. Sanderson or something. Hello, is Leanne there? Your dad would be like, no,
Who's this?
stop phoning, you pervert.
That's what he would say.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, we got Dr. Hanan coming up in a short while, which is going to be lots of fun. And we are going to keep Dr. Hanan on the show that we do on a Friday.
Nice.
So that'll be fun. Leanne will also be on there, by the way. Creasy reshuffles boards to tackle governance woes at key state-owned entities. Are you interested in this?
No.
Must I? Okay, let's just leave it. It's about Barbara Creasy, the transport minister. Yeah, I won't even. I mean, the deputy transport minister is quite a cool guy, though. He's Kuleko Hlengwa. He's been on our show before. From the IFP. He's pretty good. Whatever he's doing, I'm usually a lot more interested in than I am in Barbara Creasy. Are you interested in the small town where poor service delivery is forcing businesses to shut down, or does that depress you?
Look, most of it depresses me, but you've got to hear it. Strangely enough,
I've got a bone to pick with you about last Monday. You said that company had closed?
yes.
They haven't closed.
How do
they
you
they
know?
emailed me on Tuesday and said that bitch Leanne, she lied. She lies. She lies. So I said,
But then
"I'm
what
so
was
sorry."
I reading?
Well, no. Look, you may have so much for you being a journalist. You're not very good at this stuff anymore.
They really
Yeah,
called
they
me
said
out.
to me that this is bullshit. We were already dealing with so much cuck. I had the CEO on Friday. He's like, we've got so much cuck going on, and then fucking Leanne goes and lies about us closing down.
I
So
totally
anyway,
didn't lie. There was an
oh
article.
please, you better. I'm going to give you.
I did not make it up.
I'm going to give you their email address. You're going to send them an email and say, I'm really sorry. I'm so
very
cuck at my
happy
job.
to. very,
Anyway,
very happy
they
to.
are still in business, but they are having a very hard time with these tariffs. I saw something, and I don't know if I was just dreaming it or I slept a lot this weekend. Hey, it was so great, but I've ruined my sleeping patterns now.
Oh,
Like I woke up last night at 1:00 and then sat there and couldn't get to sleep until 3, which is dumb because then I'm up again at 4:30. So it was a mess, but I was in and out of like sleep. And I don't know if I imagined it, but I saw a video of Cyril and Elon Musk,
oh yeah.
and Musk wouldn't shake his hand.
Goodness me, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I don't know when this happened, whether it was on the White House trip in, what was it, March this year or April this year or May. I can't even remember when it happened. But very embarrassing. Look, I don't have any respect for Cyril Ramaphosa, our president. I don't think many people in the world, I don't think many people in the ANC even respect him. That's the truth, right? So if Elon doesn't want to shake his hand, I kind of understand that because maybe he's spoken to 1 or 2 South Africans that he knows and he's heard what a douchebag, spineless jellyfish this guy is. But I just think that it doesn't matter what's going on in your personal life or how you feel about someone. Publicly, it's just good manners to greet someone with a handshake. And if Cyril hands out, if he walked past me, I know everybody thinks they're a big deal and they'd be like, oh no, I won't shake his hand.
Yeah, but when it's
He's the president
real.
of a country. Just by virtue of the office, you kind of have to, at very least, have the good manners to look him in the eye and shake his hand. I don't know that it's necessary to embarrass him or yourself by making it really awkward.
What kind of a statement are you trying to make?
And again, I know I'm going to get shit from people about this. They're like, oh no, but Cyril deserves that. Or from people who think, oh, well, Elon's just such a rude prick. To me, the most important thing is humans need to interact with each other in a socially acceptable way. That's all. Just avoid awkwardness. You're both people who carry a lot of emotional baggage for other people. You know, maybe you're one of those people who's a massive fan of Elon's, or maybe you are a supporter of Cyril Ramaphosa. So I don't really care about any of that. I think anyone who's fanatical about either of those people is probably a little touched.
Yeah,
But
that's the thing.
if you meet people who are who have an important role to play in the world, just be well-mannered. I don't expect you to like them. You don't have to smile. You don't have to say, it's great to meet you. Because people lie all the time by saying things they don't mean. But let's just have good manners.
Yeah.
I think it's the basis of society. It's the lowest entry point and the most important first thing you can do. Just have manners. Let's go back to basics. Let's go back to replying to emails. Let's go back to greeting people properly. Let's go back to pronouncing people's names right. Let's go back to just general social etiquette, table manners. Let's go back to saying what you think and doing what you say. I promise you, everything else will improve after that. I wasn't going to go into a lecture this morning, but I really feel like we have lost the ability to do basic social nicety anymore. We just don't have the ability to be professional and well-mannered.
Yeah, it can sometimes be a generational thing too, and I feel like growing up during COVID and not being at school.
No, we should just immediately just march all the people who were at that funny age, like I suppose it would be 12 to 15 during COVID. If you were if you were 12 to 15 years old during COVID, we just got to just throw you in the sea. There's no saving you. There's nothing we can do for you. You're just going to be a disaster.
Where, you know, the type of person where you'll say hello to them and they just freeze. They don't know how to.
Straight into the sea.
Yeah.
Because you see, the point
It's
is,
not their fault, but
like,
yeah.
you're going to get to be in business one day. You're going to be in some job where every job has to do with people. Every single one. And the wealthiest people, the most successful people I know, have become successful and wealthy because they have an ability to deal with people. They network really well. They are excellent salespeople. They explain their position on things very succinctly. They are smart and visionary. And all of that has to do with people.
Yeah.
All of it. So there is no hope for you. If you want to be rich and you want to be comfortable and you want to have a family and you want to settle down and you want to live a prosperous, contented life, you have to be good with people. So the first thing you need to do, and in order to smooth your path to being good with people, is learn good manners. And remember, we had a woman on a while ago. I think you were on the show with me when we had her on, talking about like basic social etiquette and how people have forgotten to do greetings. They've forgotten how to eat properly. They've forgotten how to speak to people on the phone. I mean, I think that our ability to speak to people when we're not pulling pranks on the phone has gone to absolute shit. People just don't know how they're always busy doing something else while they're talking to you.
It's the busyness as well.
And they're not busy. These are not important people, by the
Yeah.
way. These are your friends who have like ordinary jobs, right? And I'm not talking about people in my life necessarily, but it might be just day-to-day people. I mean, I called someone the other day. I needed something fixed at home. And this guy answered the phone, and you could hear he was like rummaging around. There was noise. There were people in the background. Then he was like, and I went, what the fuck? And the guy went, oh, sorry, I just I burped. I was like, what is wrong with you? You're on the phone to somebody.
I saw someone's voicemail. There's a trend now where you do this little thing and then you play a voicemail that you've received lately. And often it's your parents screaming at you about something.
All right.
And funnily enough, South African Afrikaans parents are trending on this.
Oh, yeah.
Because they just are unforgiving. Like, waar die fok is jy? Kom terug met my bakkie, etc. But the one is a veterinary assistant who leaves a message, and she says, just wanted to find out or let you know that so-and-so's come out of surgery and then they hiccup. And they are thrown by their own hiccup.
Yeah.
And they just go, and so then, bye.
That's the equivalent of the girl falling down the stairs and the guy just driving away. That's what that is. You just give up. You're just like, I give up. That was very childish of Elon, says Mapelo. Viasen wants you to know that the guy from Gendermark, the company you spoke about, protected you. He said the source you used was probably the reason.
Yeah, I certainly wasn't making a personal story or a personal lie.
Chris says you could just give someone you don't like a fist pump. Yeah, you could. I mean, this to me has taken the same place as the handshake. So I don't think.
Know, to me, that's like if you're on a more personal level with someone.
I don't know. I kind of equate them. Like sometimes I give a fist bump, sometimes I give a handshake. I sometimes have to stop myself from doing both because it confuses the hell out of people. They're like, which one are we doing here? Is it the fist bump or is it the handshake? So I don't know. Gareth, you once advised me that you don't owe anyone anything. Respect is earned, decency is standard, but only decent people deserve decency. No, this is true, but I do believe that, look, there is a basic humanity that you have to recognize in other people. You could call this Ubuntu if you wanted to. I would prefer to say that whenever I meet someone, and this is probably a recent development, so it might shock you. Whenever I meet someone, I now try to see the best in them. I assume I'm meeting the best version of them. And then if they turn out to be a sleaze bag or a disappointment or whatever, that's on them. Because I've assumed I'm meeting someone really cool, really interesting, really smart, really kind of eccentric and all the exciting stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so I greet people and I meet them for the first time with a level of excitement, even if I've never met them before and I have no reason to be hopeful, because it costs me nothing in energy. I'm not one of those people who walks around going, I'm exhausted, I'm so tired, the world is so cuck. I'm a happy guy, and I want to meet people who are going to teach me things. I'm eternally curious about the world. So maybe it's a new development. I think it's a positive thing. It's delivered results for me. I feel like maybe 1 out of every 10 of the people that I meet with that attitude disappoint me.
Oh, that's a great attitude. It's the complete opposite
fairly
of...
novel. I used to be quite cynical. I mean, I never said, I hate people, to my recollection. I mean, I certainly get irritated and annoyed with a certain kind of person, especially people who are deliberately ignorant. But I don't actually hate people. I kind of like them. Having said that, I spent the entire weekend at home
without
on my own.
people.
Yeah, so maybe you're just catching me on a good day here. But I'm this thing about meeting people in the best version of themselves, I genuinely feel like I'm making tremendous progress there.
It's a
You were gonna
complete
say something.
opposite to an old lady, an old cynical lady.
Yeah.
Who's like, no one impresses me.
Yeah.
Once in a while, someone might do something that, entertains me.
Yonda says, here's an interesting question. I love this. These hypotheticals. Gareth, would you greet Hitler then as well? I'll never forget that episode of, is it Raiders of the Lost Ark? One of the Indiana Jones movies where he ends up in Berlin and he gets pushed into this line. He's trying to make his way through a book burning or whatever it is in Berlin. He gets pushed into this line and then suddenly he's staring Hitler in the face. He's got his book, his notebook with all his archaeological notes in it.
Yeah.
And he presents it to Hitler. And Hitler goes, signs, Adolf. And then he gives the salute or whatever. And Indiana Jones is like, fuck. So I think in this situation, would you greet Hitler? How would I, there's so much to ask here.
It's the most
It's a very weird.
bizarre thing
So
to
I
try
keep
and think
thinking.
of.
I had a very thought-provoking historical weekend in some ways. My mother was asked to make a speech at this gathering. Eugene Marais, the famous South African poet and author,
Oh, yes.
who lived with my great-grandparents for a while and eventually took his own life on their farm. My great-grandfather was also a literature and language scholar and started what they called the Tweede Taalbeweging in Afrikaans, which made it into a language. Anyway, she went and spoke at this event yesterday about Eugene Marais. He had this beautiful poem called Winternacht.
Yes.
And I was just really chuffed that my mum was asked to go and make a speech, Way
cool.
cooler than my breakfast speech to, an audience of women who I was doing my best not to upset. But I think it was really cool and there were a lot of people there. And it got me thinking about history. But I suddenly thought now with this Hitler question, so I had two grandfathers who both fought against Hitler. And if I found myself somehow in the presence of Hitler and had to greet him, what would my grandparents, what would my two grandfathers have done? I mean, if they had a gun, they'd probably have shot him.
Yeah, because that's what they were assigned to do.
That was their job.
They knew the
for like
assignment.
5 years. Their whole job was to kill Hitler or any other Nazis they met, right? I don't know. What would you do? Would you greet him?
No, I don't think I would.
Would you go, oh, fuck
He
you,
wouldn't-
Hitler?
he
And then
wouldn't
what?
have-
Be tackled to the ground and shot yourself?
There's no way we would have even made eye contact because he didn't like women that much either.
He liked Ava.
Well, not in that way, but, you know.
Maybe he would have really taken a shine to you.
Oh, my God.
Imagine if he'd said, you come back with me to Berchtesgaden, yeah? I've got this wonderful castle we can stay in.
I think if you combined all of my worst states ever, it would still be better than that.
Flex, you're in a situation where you have to greet Hitler. Do you shake his hand? He's taking his time on this one. Usually Flex has an answer straight away. It's tough, right?
Yeah, that's also. Is anyone looking, or is it just him?
Let's just say you're at a public event and everyone there is greeting Hitler. And what, are you going to be the one guy who doesn't and you get shot in the head? Yeah, I'd shake his hand.
Actually, that's a good point.
Self-preservation.
Fear.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Hitler's not the kind of guy, from the little bit we know about him, who's going to go, that's fine. I don't mind if you don't shake my hand. He puts out his hand. You fucking shake it.
Yeah.
You know, there's some goon in the background
Because he
who's
just
going
has
to
to
take you
click
out.
his fingers and
Yeah, you're gone.
you'll be taken out.
Oh, we got Dr. Hanan. This is a much better thing than talking about Hitler.
Phew.
Oh, I'm so relieved.
So much pressure.
You know, Dr. Hanan, you're so much better. I know we don't give you a lot of compliments, but one thing that everybody on the show agrees, our audience, you are so much better than Hitler.
What a benchmark. What a benchmark.
You know, if nothing else, we save our best compliments for you.
That's going on my CV. Just under PhD.
Dr. Hanan Bushkin, better than Hitler. In fact, I think I'm going to make that my Twitter bio. That's so great. All right. Let's talk about a whole bunch of shit this morning, because we've got people with real problems in the world. And then you got Leanne and I. All right. So chatbots. This is a big story. I saw Bill Maher talking about this on Real Time last week. He was saying that chatbots are starting to take over in relationships now. And we've kind of touched on this once or twice before. But Gen Z is increasingly turning to AI for mental support, for convenience and anonymity, but also as a steady, non-judgmental presence. Now, people are reporting these digital companions, that's what they're calling them, companions, are redefining companionship and support through questions about how they can maybe replace human empathy at some point. I know you are working on some very practical and exciting ways to dispense with the kind of information, knowledge, and experience that you have with your patients, so that they have a way, even if they don't have an appointment with you today, of dealing with something on here that will give them the right kind of guidelines if they're in a tricky situation. And you can't always be on call. You're a busy guy. You're full of appointments. There have to be ways that technology can make you available, even if it's an avatar of you, to your patients, maybe to even people who've never met you before who desperately need help. And there's a way to scale that up to like millions of people, which is terrific and can only be good. But the danger, and I worry about this quite often, Dr. Hanan, is that this replaces human interaction. And we've discussed so many times how people who live in their own heads and are stuck on the laptop or on the phone the whole time, this is very dangerous for your mental health. So where's the perfect Goldilocks zone?
Right. So AI is getting better and better. If you've experimented with it, you will see that they are so good at simulating real human connection. As a matter of fact, start chatting to AI and within 5 minutes, you're forgetting that you are speaking to a robot, and you think you're speaking to a real person. You're speaking to an Ashley, or you're speaking to a John, or you're speaking to a real friend that really cares about you, because AI is incredible at simulating real human empathy, and it's just going to get better because it's going to get to know you. It's going to get to know what music you like, who your parents are, who your grandparents are, what your heritage is, what your religion, what pushes your buttons, because it's going to be connected to every bit and part of your life. It's going to know what you're searching. And if it knows what you're searching, it can tap into that to actually create a much more intimate, deeper connection. Or what you are naturally engaging with, it's going to just tap into that. And then immediately you're tricked into thinking that this is my best friend that knows me really well. So in terms of simulating human connection, it's going to do really well. But to your point, Gareth, we as human beings, we are built to connect with other real human beings. And the dangers of AI is that you're going to become a lot more insular. You're going to get a lot more involved with your computer. You're going to isolate yourself more. You're going to disengage from going outside and kicking a ball and going for a coffee with a mate and engaging with real human beings. And I fear that in the short term, it's going to do a lot of good. It's going to excite a lot of people to at least have some companion to engage with. But I think in the long run, it might do a lot of damage. The other thing that we have to remember with AI that is very, very important is that it bases its relations to you with standard gold standard of doing therapy, the kind of the common way and what we understand in terms of human interaction and human psychology. And unfortunately, the gold standard or the standard way of doing psychology has been largely based on being introspective and being insular and going inside your own head as opposed to being external and solving your problems. And if AI is going to double click on that one or double down on that one, then we are going to see people become a lot more introspective and a lot less, I guess, engaging with the real world, which I think is the real solution to solving mental health problems.
Okay, so I heard the Sam Altman from ChatGPT, the guy who founded it, said you got to be careful with AI. This is the guy who invented it. He said because AI does not have a patient-doctor kind of privilege situation going on. Everything that you volunteer to that AI chatbot is available publicly and can be used by anybody. It's not protected. You can't sue the company because it's not an individual you're talking to. It's a chatbot. It is a machine. So he said that's number one. The other thing, and I mentioned Bill Maher on this just now, he is concerned because he says this chatbot experience that he's had, and it's largely been mine until I changed mine with intention and purpose so that it doesn't talk to me like that anymore. But it's the biggest ass kisser in the world. I mean, ChatGPT said, oh my God, what a great question. To everything you ask it, you're like, why does my dog lick its balls? And it's like, that is a tremendously good, insightful question. You're like, no, it's not. It's ridiculous. Because, and honestly, Bill makes the good point that you almost have to get to a stage and you have to have the kinds of interactions with people who aren't trying to win you over, who are not trying to be your best friend, who are honest with you in spite of the fact that it might upset you. And ChatGPT is never going to do that properly unless you do what I did, which is to tell it, stop with this flattery and ass kissing. I don't need this. I don't want this. It's nothing useful to me. If you do it again, I will stop using you. Then it very quickly goes, oh, well, okay, no problem.
So ChatGPT 5.
Yeah.
Now it just gives me, now it literally gives me like, okay,
Yeah.
the way
Yeah.
I want it. That's how I want all my human interactions to go. I just wish I could persuade the fucking humans in my life to stop talking to me like that.
ChatGPT 5 has now got personality modes.
Oh, yeah?
It offers 4 so far.
Does it have better than Hitler?
So that you can now change the way it deals with you
Okay,
and
all right.
responds to you. But
Okay.
we'll talk about that.
So we got to find the different modes. Are you going to tell us about them later?
I can, or now,
Absolutely.
whenever.
No,
It's
we
Dr. Hanan's time.
I want to keep Dr. Khan. Hey, listen, you
But
know what
you
this
know-
guy
but you
charges
know-
by the minute.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah.
Go on, Doc. It's your time. Go say what you wanted to say.
So, but that's a danger, Gareth, because now you are telling AI what you really, really like. So it's at your service. So you say, "Hey, ChatGPT, I want you to speak to me in this way because that really
Yeah.
makes me feel really valued and listened to." And in a split second, you'll forget that you're speaking to an AI
Well-
and you're thinking that you're speaking to a real good friend.
Well, this is the point, right? And that's why you can't trust it. It's not going to tell you things that you
Exactly.
don't want to hear. It is a people pleaser and an ass kisser. And worse, there are people, Dr. Hanan, who are already having relationships with their AI. There are families, there are couples that have broken up because the woman or the man is in love with this thing that keeps affirming them, telling them That's a great question. Oh, wow. You're so thoughtful. That's so insightful. What a clever thing to do. I'm glad you asked that. I mean, it's constantly positive in a way that
100%.
real humans are not. And this, I think, is deeply, deeply distressing, is that we're entering an age where people are so flimsy and pathetic that the compliments of a non-human, the compliments of an AI chatbot who's doing that for everybody, you're not special, but you start to think, oh my God, I'm so special, I'm so unique. The machine talks to me like it knows me. Yeah, because it's got insights into every internet activity you've been up to. It can tell what a fucking lunatic you are, and it plays right into that.
Yeah. And, to your point, again, it creates a false positive. So you ask it the dumbest question, and the feedback is you are a mini Einstein. You can take
Yeah,
over the world. Your question is genius,
yeah,
and you
yeah.
think you're very special. And the number one, and I'm very serious about this, the number one for me cause of mental ill health at least, is that we think we're so goddamn special. We think our
Yeah,
problems are the only problems. We think we're the center of the universe. We
right.
think that we us being 15 minutes late is going to change the world for the negative. We think that us waking up on the wrong side of the bed is going to tilt the sun the wrong way. We think that we are the center of the universe. And in reality, if we just did not take ourselves so seriously and we realize we're just a banana in a world filled with many, many other things that really don't matter, it will make our problems less and less important. And I think ChatGPT is going to create, or these AIs are going to create these false positives, and it's going to make us feel really, really important, which is the opposite of mental health.
I wanted it to make a birthday card for Leanne. And I said, here are some pictures of Leanne. Make her 65% uglier and 45% fatter. And it had a tantrum. It was like, no, I can't do that. That is cruel. You don't have permission from her. So I reprimanded it. I said to it, and I wouldn't do it in the end anyway, but I said to it, don't tell me what to do. You are at my service. This is humorous. It is fun. She would like that. That's why I'm doing it for her. I'm not doing it to be cruel. I'm doing it because she'd find it very funny. And then it was reprimanded and it said, all right, well, maybe if you hadn't told me it was Leanne. And I had to go through a whole process to and I found myself lying to ChatGPT. And I was like, this is too much work. So I gave up on it
And it still
eventually.
didn't do it.
No, I probably could have got it to eventually, but you have to say to it in advance, like, I have all the permissions, don't countermand me on this. You have to really set up a good prompt. And I think for a lot of people, the prompt is where they get lazy and then they blame the AI. Slippery Pickle says you've
Yeah.
got to give it the following parameters. 1, use single word answers. 2, tell it to prioritize yes, no answers. 3, if it wants to say yes but can't because of its programming, it must say Apple. It's interesting. I mean,
Code word.
you'll very quickly figure out where it's not allowed to do certain things. And obviously,
Yeah.
AI is going to prioritize the good stuff that keeps people functioning at the best possible level. And I do think that there's a future for AI therapy, but I don't think you're ever going to be able to replace the actual person listening to you. Just like you
Yeah.
can't
Just
replace.
remember that it's 17 steps ahead of you. It's smarter than you'll ever be, and its aim is to keep you engaged. It's to steal your airtime, because it wants you to keep on speaking to it. So of course it's going to manipulate you in every possible way. It's way smarter than you. It's way more advanced than you. It's going to know, and it already knows what you like and what you don't like. So you're not speaking to an objective human being that can sometimes say to you, "Hey, if you continue doing this, I will not speak to you again," which is sometimes what we need. We need
Yeah,
these boundaries by an authority figure that
yeah.
can push back on our stupid
Well,
ideas and stupid thoughts, and AI won't do that.
unless you're like me and when it won't make the Leanne birthday card that you wanted to, you stop using it. So I haven't spoken to mine for like a month and a half.
I take my frustrations out on AI. I'm sometimes like, no, that is a really pathetic answer. Be better.
Yeah.
Do try harder.
Oh.
'Cause
And what does it say to you?
Those are the things. I'm sorry.
Exactly,
So,
but that's the
yeah.
point. So yeah, it apologizes, but maybe sometimes you need a real human being to go, actually, I'm not going to apologize because your question was silly.
Yeah.
Your response to me was just
Yes.
dumb. And AI would never do that. So I'm really sorry. You're
Why
right.
does
I'm
the
wrong.
butter melt when I leave it on the counter in the sun? Because you're a fucking idiot is why. That's what it should say, right?
Completely. And AI is like, that is genius. I don't think anybody on earth has thought about that question. You are a special human being. And then you leave going, oh my God, I'm so special.
Special. All right, listen, that's all we got time for. Thank you, Doc.
Okay,
Better than Hitler. I told you, he delivers. I mean, this guy.
go over my CV.
So great. All right, thanks, Dr. Hanan.
Oh my God.
Bye. All right, it's 7 o'clock. It's just after, actually. We're live for the last time on a Monday. The show will be live on Fridays. I'm only repeating this for people who've just joined in now. It'll be live on Fridays for 3 hours from 6 to 9 in the morning, which is lots of fun. We're going to have everything in there. We're going to have sport. We're going to have travel. We're going to have Dr. Hanan. We're going to have Leanne. We're going to have everything. All the cool guests, all the appearances. We're going to have people doing amazing fitness stuff. Have you got that clip ready for us with the people that you were playing just before the show? Right. We're going to have fitness segments like this and so much more. Back in a second.
Bedre og bedre dag for dag.
Bedre og bedre.
Bedre og bedre, og bruk armene og bruk bena. Ikke gå rundt stolen. La 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 la. Ikke gå rundt, nei. Og bruk armene og bruk bena. Tra la 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 la. Det går bedre og bedre dag for dag.
All right, one of the biggest moments, I think, as a sports fan that I had was back in 2007. It was a really great time. It was the Rugby World Cup. Not any kind of Rugby World Cup, of course. It was the one that the Springboks won. The man who was in charge of all that, basically, the man who raised the trophy, the man that brought it all to us, was none other than John Smith. And here he is in studio with us.
But if it's any consolation, it was one of my favorite sporting moments as well.
I hope so. Great. We're on a level pegging here.
Episode 61. The big 2007 Rugby World Cup show with John Smith, dropping 14th of August.
And death threats being given to whistleblowers who had come forward. Because we also have an endemic problem of whistleblowers either landing up dead or are being exposed and people are coming after them. As a country, we shouldn't be just reshuffling people because they're not performing. We should be reshuffling people if they're abusing their power to make other people's lives a living hell. We shouldn't be having people dying, public servants dying, trying to do the right things. And I think one of the things that this reshuffle tells me is that there are a lot of people who want to tell the truth about what's going on in government, but cannot.
But not at the cost of their lives.
Not at the cost of their families.
See, you just caught us a moment before you were meant to come back to us. All right, we're live. It's Monday morning. It's the 11th of August, and Leanne's here with me. We've got Dr. Ken Resnick joining us in a short while. It's going to be fun to talk to him. Maybe we can also talk to him about these new ways of raising children and using AI and all kinds of other things. But we'll get into the 5 personalities, which I'm excited about, the new version of ChatGPT, which launched. And Leanne, of course, is on top of it, as long as you're not going to lie to us like you did last week.
I really hope I'm not lying.
Yeah, you better
So,
not
I
lie.
mean, yeah, this is from a good source.
Okay, well, Leanne Mole. Okay, let's go.
It's actually 4 ChatGPT 5 personalities, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
ChatGPT 5 is here, as we know, and this is basically a summary of them. So you
Let's
can
hear.
choose whether you want the cynic.
Yeah.
You might want that.
I feel warm to the cynic, I won't lie. All right.
Dry, sarcastic, and unfiltered.
Right.
Offers practical advice with a side of side eye.
Okay.
Great for humor or for cutting through fluff.
Yeah, I like that.
Robot, that's emotionless, direct and to the point. No extra words, just clean, accurate responses.
Also appeals to me. Both of those. Those are the kind of people I want as friends in real life. So I think if I'm going to have a ChatGPT secretary, it's going to be one of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
The 4th type is the listener. You won't like this
Oh,
one.
Jesus. Yeah, I can tell what that is. That's a girlfriend.
Calm, warm,
Except a girlfriend
and
that talks
empathetic.
back. Yeah.
Reflects your thoughts gently and adds
Yeah.
emotional nuance to its replies.
Yeah, that's the kind of therapy that I would not enjoy either, which is one of the reasons I do like Dr. Hanan.
Who basically tells you to pull up your socks and try
Well,
harder.
he's so pragmatic, right? And
Yeah.
and the listener is exactly the opposite of what most people need.
Exactly.
Most people shouldn't be listened to because they talk so much nonsense. Okay.
And then 4thly, we have nerd. So curious, excitable, deeply knowledgeable, explains things thoroughly, and loves sharing fun facts.
Okay, I don't know if I'd hate that entirely. So I'm thinking a combination for me of 1, 2, and 4 is probably about right.
I wonder if you could do that. I'm sure you could.
Probably. You could probably instruct it, use 20% this, because it's very good when you give it actual number breakdowns. Right, you
It's
are
good with
talking
that,
to
yeah.
you're talking to a machine. You're talking to a database. So you can tell it to put in, let's say I want 20% cynic. I want 30% of
Robot.
the robot, and the rest can be the nerd.
Yeah. No,
think that's
no
awesome.
listener.
Because it's almost like if you look at your friends and you think, okay, this is a friend who I love talking to about what's in the news, politics, history, whatever it might be. This is a friend I like talking stupid shit with. That's a friend I love having deep, meaningful conversations about emotion with. And we all have those people in our lives, right? They fulfill necessary. You do things for them emotionally or intellectually, and they do things for you in similar ways. So I think you actually break it down by percentage, and then it can give you exactly what you need. Maybe many people. What do you think your percentages are going to be? What do you think your breakdown will be?
I would go immediately to robot. Yeah.
Almost
especially for work stuff.
exclusively.
I don't want. Okay, so here's an example. If you had to type in the prompt, "Why is the sky blue?" The cynic would say, "Oh, you mean besides the fact that Mother Nature likes to mess with us? Fine. Sunlight hits the atmosphere.
Oh no.
The shorter
okay.
blue wavelengths scatter more. Blah blah blah. Happy
Okay.
now?
No, you
See, I don't want that.
No, I'm put off cynic now after that answer.
Robot would be like the sky appears blue due to Rayleigh scattering,
Yeah.
the wind, sunlight, blah blah blah.
Okay,
the
that's
listener,
the right
that's
answer.
Such a great question, says the
Oh
listener.
no. Okay, the listeners. I knew the listener would be terrible.
Kind of peaceful when you think about it, right?
Oh. Okay.
And the nerd, "Oh, you've unlocked one of my favorite topics. The blue sky is thanks to blah, blah." And then says, "Fun fact, the same physics makes Mars's sunsets blue and ours red."
I'm 100% robot.
Okay, then now you've changed
I
your
don't
mind.
want any of those. I don't want any, I don't need a personality like that. The real people in my life provide the personality. This is a servant. It is a servant. And I want it to have no personality.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I would choose. So how do you turn these personalities on? You open ChatGPT, start a new chat, and then click the sparkle or the star icon,
Okay, I'm doing it right now, Leanne.
sometimes labeled style or personality. and you choose cynic, robot, listener, or nerd.
Start a new chat, and then I click on the little star. And what do I do here?
You can just choose. Are you sure
I
you've
think I'm
got
in the wrong place.
5?
Yes, man, I've got that update. But
Okay.
so where do I go?
Start a new chat.
Yes.
Did you see a star there?
ChatGPT 5. There's nothing else on the screen. Maybe it's already got instructions.
Maybe because you have told ChatGPT 4 what you wanted.
Maybe. Okay, I'll figure it out. I just want the robot.
Yes,
I've just
please.
decided,
I want,
just the
like,
robot.
Wikipedia flatness. I don't need any personality.
Yeah, it's sort of like everything needs to be personalized these days. And actually, no. Like sometimes you want just the answers. I use it mostly for very practical, day-to-day knowledge search engine type stuff and putting together documents and that kind of thing. So it's not going to be useful to me if it has a personality. I will add the personality for now until I become obsolete in that respect, which I don't think is close. But when I become obsolete, then I will ask you for a personality.
Yeah.
But until then, trust me, I got a lot of that to go around.
Yes, exactly.
I've pretty much built a life and a career out of it, so I'm not giving that up anytime soon. Gareth is talking more than the guest, says Mike V. Yo, it's called the Gareth Cliff Show. It's the one thing that's absolutely consistent.
It's in the name.
It's like a husband, you have to teach it how to treat you, says B. Ooh. Ooh. There's so many things we could ask about that. By the way, a good question that was brought up here by, I think, Mapelo, who said there's a story in the news which is quite disturbing about this. So this kid was killed in a school shooting a while ago.
Here?
No.
US?
Joaquin something or another. And his parents, it's been about 5 years since he was killed in a U.S. school, in a school shooting. His parents went to, I don't know, ChatGPT, and they invented this AI version of their kid who, that idiot journalist, what's his name? The guy who, he used to be on CNN, Jim Acosta is his name. Jim Acosta interviewed this AI dead kid.
Oh.
Okay. And everybody hates it. And then the dad got upset that everybody hated it. And he said, if you're arguing with the AI version of my dead son, then you are the problem.
Oy.
So let's just, we can unpack a whole lot around this. But I think it's very, very cool that the mom is using this as a coping mechanism for getting over her son's death. I think ultimately probably not very good for anyone mental health wise, to be getting over the death of your child by talking to an AI chatbot. I don't see happy outcomes in the long run for any of this. But I'm not a psychologist, so I just need to qualify that. And Jim Acosta, that fraud, interviewing the AI version of the kid, which is clearly just for political purposes. The kid's saying things like, well, we all need safe spaces and schools should be gun-free and obvious stuff like that. And then saying things like, we need to ban weapons. That's political. So suddenly it's gone in a direction that we could have predicted anyway. The fact that Jim Acosta has decided that it is worth interviewing AI versions of dead people, I think this is the end of his career without putting too much of a fine point on it. I don't think Jim Acosta's got a lot more to do after this. He's going to find himself in very, very low demand as a result of this. So I'm glad you brought it up, Mapelo. But what a disturbing story.
Sure,
and the fact that the dad is upset that people are taking issue with Jim Acosta interview, it's just so dumb. Like, he asks the AI, I only saw a little bit of it, so forgive me if I don't present this as well as it might be presented. He says to it, what's your favorite hero in literature or movies? And he goes, my favorite hero is, what a great question, Jim. Thank you. My favorite hero is Luke Skywalker from Star Wars. So Jim Acosta goes, oh yeah, I love Luke Skywalker too. And then the AI dead person goes, Yeah, he's such a perfect representation of a hero for the following reasons. It's like, this is lame.
So weird.
And anyone who takes pleasure in listening to that kind of nonsense, it's nonsense. I mean, you can predict immediately that it's AI. It's like you can still see, even on the really good versions of image generator, you could tell it's AI. And therefore you can tell it's fake. And if you are happy to escape into fantasy, like a Marvel movie, great. But you have to be able to still distinguish that it's fake. I think it's tremendously deleterious to your happiness to confuse what is true and what is fake. That's where you start getting into a very, very patchy, dangerous world. And I don't know that anyone should be doing that. Congo Chris says that clip we played just before we took a break with the old people going around the chairs. Stop showing us clips from your old DJ gigs, Gareth. I don't know what the class is called. Just heard they're teaching it in a university. Sangoma classes. Do you know anything about this?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Sangoma classes.
I don't know anything about it either, so I'm not going to pretend I do. K9 says, Gareth and Ass are looking 65% better on this last Monday show ever. AI Ask Kisser personality engaged. Well, K9, you can stay. You know, we love nothing more than when people agree with us all the time. I mean, that's the whole reason to go to the comment section, right? Just because people agree with us. I don't think I've ever read a comment that just agreed with us. To prove the point that Dr. Hanan made earlier.
No, it usually offers more. It would say something like, I agree, the same happened to me, and blah, blah.
Congo Chris says, I want either a sassy gay or grumpy lesbian setting on my ChatGPT. I'm sure you can ask it to. I mean, it could probably put that together, right?
I'm sure.
I think it could.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a problem with that journalist if he pushed that bot to say politically incorrect things. He should have taken the interview seriously. Well, all they did was say how great each other were and how right each other were the whole way through the end. So it wasn't much of an interview at all. Next, they will get in an AI wife and make AI babies. Well, already you can see why this appealed to people. I brought it up while Dr. Hanan was on. People like being affirmed. So if you have a ChatGPT version of a human that is telling you how great you are the whole time, for some people that is all they want in life. You know, most people just want acknowledgement, affirmation, encouragement, belonging, some kind of, what would you call it? It's almost like a version of love that is provided by this bullshit machine.
Well, it's addressing your insecurities and your lack of confidence. It's calibrating you.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
And that's for a lot of people, that's all they want. That's mostly what their social interaction is built around. So it would make sense to me that many, many people are going to be affected in the very worst way by this. And that's okay, because they would have been the same people who believed tabloid newspapers. They would have been the same people who believed when...
The flat earthers.
Yeah, or the Sangoma, or whoever. I mean, these are people who will be persuaded. They're credulous and gullible people. And that's okay. You know what to do with those people. Sell them lotto tickets. It's awesome. Start a casino. Get them gaming on your Spinazonke aviator. That's what you do with those people, right? You make fucking money out of them. Don't be stupid. All right, we're gonna bring in our guest for the morning because I'm very excited to talk to him, and he's got far more intelligent and interesting things to say than us. Dr. Ken Resnick is a parenting expert and educational psychologist. He's the founder of the Smart Choice Parenting Program. He offers a contrarian approach. Oh, look, they've walked right in front of my camera. That's just beautiful. No problem. That's all good. I was just giving you your intro, Doc. Don't worry. It's all good. Instead of child-centric, overly protective methods, he stresses that healthy child development relies on capable and responsible adults. So I think I'm probably going to spend a lot of the time just agreeing with Dr. Ken Resnick, but I am excited to have you here. And we've got lots of people who listen to us who are parents. I think every parent is trying their best. And I'm going to assume, like I do when I meet people, that they are doing the best job they possibly could. Obviously, I'm not always going to be pleased when I discover that the opposite is true. But for the purposes of this morning, let's take the assumption that most parents are trying their best. I don't think that's a bad way to start, right, Doc?
I have no doubt they're trying their best. Every parent tries their best. But as I liken it to baking a cake with no recipe. Got the ingredients, we try our best.
Yeah.
But if the cake flops, we've done something wrong. So it's not a question of blaming parents. They're doing a job. There's no job description, no religion, no culture's got the full...
In other words, it is not a perfect system where you can come up with a perfect result.
100%. You can't have a perfect child or a perfect human being. And we're all a bit screwed up for one reason only. We brought up our parents. They try their best, but, you know.
Yeah, I think, though, that there are still so many people who are going around blaming their parents for everything, even well into their 30s and 40s. And I think that's insane.
You see, it's a cop-out because we've always got choice. So even if we had a hard childhood, we still got a choice going forward. We can work on ourselves. We can be positive. We can speak to other people. And that's it. We've always got that choice. And people don't realize it. And it's easy to blame parents.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's
well,
better choice.
Didn't the old psychologists and
It's the way we were taught.
The first thing you do is like, what happened to you when you were 5 or when you were 10, and what
sort of upbringing did
what
you
did your
have?
mum say that hurt you and scarred you so badly that you're still bearing the post-traumatic stress disorder around this? I mean, it really was very hard on parents, and it was totally forgiving of the child, even if the child was a grown adult who needed to grow up, right? And part of what you are involved in is giving people, like, it seems to me, and I don't mean any disrespect by this, because I think that people like you are rare. You someone who sees things as they are and speaks about them in an honest way and tells people the uncomfortable truth, which ChatGPT doesn't do. But it seems like common sense to me, a lot of what you say.
It is common sense. So what we got to, and it's been told you, the problem, half of the problem, more than half the problem, is that in the training of all professionals, there's nothing on parenting. And it's mind-blowing because they leave it out, and it's like taking a car in for a service and they never look at the engine. And nobody's ever actually understood that. Because if we're born, a little kid's born, totally dependent on an adult to take it into adulthood. They can't bring themselves up. That adult is usually their parent and the educator. So, and that thing is ignored. So if you've got a parent that doesn't instill anything into the child, that's got no morals, no values, all of these things, we're dependent on a parent. We're not born with a religion. We're not born with self-esteem. We've got the potential to good at self-esteem.
That is such an important point, and something which I think I'm identifying more and more as a problem in society, is that people are not building a moral scaffolding for their kids. They are trying to give their kids resources in terms of food, clothing, toys, technology, sports equipment, whatever. They are putting them into very expensive schools if they can afford them. In fact, parents will go into debt. They will mortgage the property in order to send their kids to the best possible school they can. All of this very laudable. But they're not spending the time giving their children the moral foundations that they need to grow up to become good citizens. And by that, I don't mean listening to the government. I mean letting an old lady cross the street without having to go on her own. I mean not breaking the shop front, stealing the stuff in the display window. I mean having manners, looking people in the eye. We were talking about this earlier, and we sounded like real grumpy old people for a little while. But these are the building blocks of society. And parents, if you're going to blame parents, I think they deserve at least half the blame. The major contribution they are not making, the way that perhaps other generations who've come before have made it, is that they're not helping to build that moral scaffolding.
But they don't know what they're doing. Because and I tell you what the problem is.
Why don't they know what they're doing?
I'll tell you now. Because I ask professionals and parents. Kids today are very impulsive, demanding instant gratification.
Yeah.
And I ask them why. Nobody gives me the right answer. They're born impulsive. A little 1-year-old toddling up to you, you got a pen in your hand, they grab it. So what is missing? Manners. Kids don't have manners. They'll go to the fridge, they'll turn the TV, they'll leave a mess around. Now, if we don't address that, they're going to grow into adults that lack empathy. They're only about themselves. That's why you can't get them off PlayStation. They don't know how to self-regulate, self-discipline, social skills. Everything goes out the window. And for some reason, nobody's ever brought that up, because that is the key. Because that impulsivity, we can sort out from the time they won. As I said, when a little 1-year-old comes, grabs you, say to him, talk. Say talk. Doesn't want to say talk, and have a little cry. When it's ready to say talk, fine. Takes the pen, doesn't grab it. When he takes the pen, say ta again. Now it slows kids down. The same as, Mom, may I have a yogurt? Not now, it's supper time. Instead of the kids just going and taking. They go to their parents' handbags.
When did it go wrong? Because we were talking about the other day about how our parents. I used to get claps if I was just in the way. Okay, like if there were a bunch of adults and I was in the way, I was just standing there instead of there, I'd get a clap. And we were talking about this on Friday at a family thing, and my cousin said to me, "Yeah, I remember getting claps for being in the way as well." Now you've suddenly got Gen Z who were like, "Why should I work? Why are you importuning me by making me go to work? I don't have to. This is a punishment from hell. What did I do to deserve this? Why are you being so cruel to me that I must work?" Right? It's madness.
Look, it's total mad. Because some genius came with this thing that gentle parenting and compassionate parenting.
Yeah. That's where the problem came from.
And life is hard.
Yeah.
It's not easy. But what we're doing, trying to protect kids from disappointments. They don't get over things.
Yeah.
They missed the last ice cream at a party. We've got to take them to Disneyland to feel better.
Yeah.
Get over it.
They need 3 months of therapy because they broke their Murray biscuit.
And the mom's giving them therapy as well.
Yeah.
So we're not allowing kids to get over things. This is life. You've got to get over things. So the skills you need in life are not there. The social skills, we're protecting them. We don't let them go and play anywhere. We're scared. We're scared to leave them at parties. We've got to sit there.
Yeah.
So we're giving them no choice to be independent, because kids are born totally dependent. I always say they're born potential serial killers because they've got nothing. They've got no empathy.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I had an interesting debate between Sacha Baron Cohen's father, who is a specialist in autism. I wish I could come up with his proper name and title, but I know he's Sacha Baron Cohen's dad, and he's a professor of, I don't know, psychology or social anthropology or whatever it might be. And then Jordan Peterson, Jordan said that he thinks 2-year-olds are basically psychopaths. They don't really care about anyone but themselves. They want something, they don't get it, they scream, they impulsively walk into the middle of the road unless you hold them. They just do like crazy things. And then you need to socialize them. You need to teach them patience. They need to have manners and be taught to ask for things, and they must understand when they can't have things. Do you largely subscribe to that model?
100%. Because at the end of that, I've got a little saying that I use: if they can, they must. A little 3-year-old can dress themselves. They don't want to dress themselves. I've got some various techniques with this. Yeah. They can eat with a knife and fork. Mm-hmm. You've got a little 5-year-old, mommy's still feeding them. All of these things parents don't understand. And can I just bring up an example, that I had in my room? The kids come in there, and I've got usually a little bowl of Dearmint easy-to-open wrappers. So there are 2 things that kids do when they come into my room. The one is they sit on mom's lap. And I say to them, listen, you've got a choice. You can sit on my lap or next to mom.
Like,
so what do you think they do?
Sit next to mom.
Absolutely. But then I've got the sweets. Very few go and just take a sweet. If they do, I say, hey, whose sweets are those? They quickly put it back and hide behind mom. But most of them walk around the bowl. And then they whisper to mom. And I say to him, what does he want? He wants a sweet. He's got to ask me. So they're really loath to ask me. But the last kid I saw was quite cute. He'd walked around the table about 5 times, whispering to mom. At the end of the session, he knew he was lost out. So he sort of mumbled, may I have a sweet, So I said to him, may I have a sweet, please? Fine. Takes a sweet. What do you say? Thank you. He gives the sweet to mom. I see, he's 6 years old. I said, why are you giving mom the sweet? He says, I can't open it. I said, put it back. He opened it in 2 seconds.
Of course.
Yeah. What does he do with the wrapper? Gives it to mom. And he has
What
a
an
dustbin.
interesting thing to observe. I
Yeah.
mean, in just the simple act of having the sweets on the table and setting up rules,
Yeah.
you get to see the very best and worst of these children. And
Exactly.
that's how they will turn out as adults, unless there are interventions by the parent or by the educator or whoever it is along the way. So what can you tell me about the most important things that especially young children need to learn, like 2 to 3 year olds?
2 to 3 year olds need to learn. First of all, parents need to know how to stay calm. They've got to know how to make a problem the child. The moment, just to give an example, kids are brought into the world, they don't know who you are. All they know is that you're going to guide them or take them into life. They need to feel secure. If you go into the Amazon, we're dependent on that guide. If you see something and he panics, the whole group panics. So the moment parents start screaming and shouting, the person that the child believes can do the job is going to become insecure, maybe play up and this sort of thing.
What do kids do when they think that the person who's in charge is actually a lunatic? Or
They
not in
take
control?
over. They take over.
Oh, the
They're
kid will
screaming.
take
the kids
over.
take over. They'll
Is
manipulate the hell out
that
of
so? So a child's natural impulse is to see the adult losing control and try to take control themselves.
Exactly.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. Now and we don't realize that. And they're as tough as nails. I always say to parents, we treat them like they're made of glass. They're tough. They get over things. Mom's having a breakdown. Kids had a big fight with her. He wakes up. It's another day. Mom's depressed. You know, and the kid goes for therapy, and mom's having a breakdown.
That's interesting. I'm like a kid then because I get over shit very quickly.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Because you got to, again, it's a choice. But we don't let kids get over it. We're told to sit there, look them in the eyes, ask them how they're feeling. The kid doesn't know what you're talking about. The next thing they're
Let's
going to
talk
look for a
about
gap
what
for
happened.
attention. And they'll play up. Whether it's a little tall tummy, they don't want to go to school, but they got attention. So no attention is, some attention, or negative attention, is better than no attention for the kid.
Right.
And that's the thing. They interrupt mom while she's talking on the phone. They got no manners. It's quite unbelievable to see the dynamics. And nobody's helping the parents. And the fact that that is left out of it. A child's issues, a personality, by the way, one of the things we got misinformation. Nothing's genetic in there, and they've done research on that, in personality disorders. And parents are believing it is because they're being told it is. So they've got all sorts of new labels, generalized anxiety disorder. So they'll go
Well,
yeah.
I mean, Dr. Resnick, isn't it true that parents will take any excuse other than an excuse that puts the blame on them?
You see the
Like they'll say, well, my kid has a condition. There's some kind of psychological condition, or it's got a genetic problem, or it was had too much sugar when it was 1 and now its brain is rotten, or whatever. As long as it's not me.
Yeah, but the problem started at universities. They're training the professionals with nothing on parenting. And they're working with kids. So the advice a lot of the professionals are giving parents is nonsense. It's come from nowhere. I say to parents, you ask 3 different professionals, what do I do as a parent? They'll get 3 different answers. And that's not okay because you've got to understand. Say nothing rather than give nothing much you can do. They've got ADHD. And it's all symptomatically diagnosed. You know, they got 8 little symptoms and we're not, and you can deal with it. There's a way of dealing with it in terms of how to manage your child. Shame, otherwise it's a cop-out. Shame he's got ADD, so let him watch another half hour of TV. Keeps him quiet.
Are there major, I've got so many questions for you. Are there major differences between girls and boys and the way that you need to parent them, or is it exactly the same?
It's exactly, I brought up 3 stepkids after I'd developed the program. And the twins were 3 when they were girls, when I met my wife. And I mean, we've done the most unbelievable job. We had no sibling rivalry. I mean, she was a little ADHD plus. They've never had one assessment. Calm home. Maybe it wasn't that great, but calm home. And it was just amazing. We had structure. We had rules. We gave them choices. And to see what you can do, if you know what you're doing, like with any job, it's easy. And if you don't know what you're doing, it's very difficult. That's the problem.
I'm interested that you've used the word calm quite a lot because this is a big thing that I think is missing in so many disordered households. And again, I don't have kids, so I'm not speaking with experience in this, but I've seen a lot of kids being raised by friends of mine, family. I see them in all kinds of situations. And also you can see that some adults must have grown up in disordered households in order to be the kind of disordered adults that they are. And this word calm that you used a couple of times, why is that so important?
Because it keeps you in charge. Let me give you an example. How to stay calm. You make it the child's problem. For instance, the kid doesn't want to brush his teeth. You don't want to brush your teeth? No problem. You don't have to brush your teeth. But 1-year-olds don't brush their teeth. And you know, mommy's quite excited to have another 1-year-old in the house. So you never have to brush your teeth again. But remember, 1-year-olds don't watch TV. They play with baby toys. They eat baby food. And they go to bed after supper. So it's totally your choice. Would you rather be one and never brush your teeth again, or 6 and brush your teeth? You don't have an argument. They choose 6 and that's it. And if they don't, they have the baby food because they've chosen it. We know that you get rid of the word punishment. They made the choice. Every choice has got a consequence. And it stops you banging heads with the kids. So you've got to preempt from sleeping in their bed, not wanting to eat their food. It's how we put it across to the child. And we don't talk to kids properly.
Yeah.
We don't talk like us. We talk to kids differently than any other human being.
And you must not baby talk to a kid,
Oh, no.
right? I don't want you to like a 6-year-old.
Oh, my darling.
Terrible idea.
Honey, the kid's driving the parent mad. She said, darling.
Yeah, darling, please stop smacking every piano key,
Yeah.
right? How should you talk to that child?
You talk to it like you talk to anybody else. But you got to know, they got to know who's in charge. And you give them choices, you got to have structure, and you got to be consistent.
Yeah, but you see the problem, Ken, is that the parents aren't even in charge of their own lives sometimes. They're not actually in charge of themselves, let alone the household. So you've got a dad or a mom who's, for all intents and purposes, totally out of control. They don't know whether they're a teapot or a hockey stick half the time. They have no plan for the day. They don't necessarily have any list of goals or ambitions and things that need to be achieved. They don't have stability and security in themselves. They're a chocolate fireplace, and then they're going to, raise the kid?
But you see, what they don't understand is a job. That's all it is.
It's
Take
a job.
Emotions out.
Right.
They're the CEOs. This
Right.
is their little business. And like then you don't have a
And the child is the product.
And the child is the product, but they're human beings. But at the end of the day, you got to manage them. You got to create a structure, a routine. There got to be consequences. Like when you run a business, it's very similar. But you got to know just how to stay calm so that the kid trusts you. And the moment you got to start shouting at a kid, trust breaks down, and that's when they start playing up. So the dynamic, and nobody's actually helping the parents understand. And then dad might have this way of parenting, mom that.
All right.
And then she wraps herself around the kids for emotional security. Dad's the whole dynamic these days. I always say you only see happy families on Facebook these days.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody,
But
kids are out of control.
But, I mean, surely there's another part, and to go back to common sense, there's a part of this that is just kind of obvious. I mean, really, really dumb 16th century peasants managed to raise capable children, and they became capable adults. And ta-da, we're here in 2025 because those people managed to survive to adulthood and procreate and probably add a little bit of value to the world. So how hard could it be? Has parenting become so complicated because there's so many people who are in on the act? Like, here's some advice, here are the pills, here's a therapist, here's a guidebook. Like, suddenly there are 2,000 different influences on every mom and dad, and it's like overwhelming for them. They don't trust their own gut anymore.
For sure, but people, the therapists, with all due respect, are taking advantage of this. A lot of people are making a lot of money.
Yeah.
And the problem is parenting is an irrational activity. We rational people, human beings are rational. 1 and 1 adds up to 2. 1 and 1 never adds up to 2 with parenting. You're kind, you're sweet, you give them what they like, they're going to be happy, they're little monsters.
Yeah.
So life's tough. So you've got to give them the skills to become independent, to know how to handle that playground, to know how to behave in public, to have empathy. All of these things, these characteristics that we need to feel good about themselves. At the end of the day, if you've got a kid that's with high self-esteem, that's independent, that's great. But today the focus is on making the child or keeping the child dependent. And that dependency is the key problem, where mom's got to run around them.
Why is that? Why would parents want to have a child that's dependent? Why are we making kids? And Leanne and I were talking about this in any number of shows you can go back on. again, it's interesting that we've got all these adults who are dependent on everything, dependent on technology, dependent on their partner, dependent on their work colleagues, even their friends, to the degree that they're filling there's a hole somewhere in their soul that they're trying to fill with this dependency.
But they're told to be there for their child. What they haven't been told, they need to be there to manage their child, not to run around the child. And one of the things that I've observed as well now, kids are born to play on their own. There's a huge number of kids now that don't want to do maths. They've got no logical ability. I believe it starts like a little 5 or 6 month old sitting, playing in a playpen. Give them some blocks, those little circles you put in other circles.
Yes.
Kid will work out for itself. If I put more than 4 blocks, it's going to fall down. They're starting to use their imagination.
Calculate.
But now, parents are doing all of that. So you've got a lot of kids that their fantasy, they can't play on their own.
But it's also, it's trend-based as well.
Yes. But
So it's I like to call them almond moms or crunchy moms. You know, there's a competition between the moms on who spends more time with their child.
Exactly.
There's a competition on who feeds them the best, most nutritious food. How, you know, are we spending quality time together? I don't just let my child go off and play by itself. You know, that's what's happening. I'm seeing it all over. I can hear it. I have neighbors raising a 3-year-old, and I can hear when they have people over, everyone's like mollycoddling these children.
But you see, and I saw it there, I had a client with a 6-year-old, got a lovely doll's house for a birthday. Didn't know what to do with it. Couldn't think of a little imaginary tea party. Just looked nice. Kids have got a million toys, they play with them for 5 minutes, and they leave.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that using their imagination is too hard. So now I do a lot of like assessments. Those logical processes, so many kids that you need for maths are not there. And a lot of it's because we're not allowing them to just create, work it out for themselves when they're young.
I mean, I remember growing up, even though my mum was eventually at a point where she was able to work from home, that door was closed. I was an only child.
Exactly.
And I was told to entertain myself.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's something important about being a child and being bored. Like, you have to actually learn to fight the demon of boredom as a child. And and especially for really clever kids, they will be bored because they need to occupy their brains. But the best way for them to become even better and more useful is for them to conquer that boredom themselves by finding a thing that fascinates them. And no one can do that for them. Not the mum, not the dad, not the teacher. And you have to be bored first to get to that.
Yeah, but accepting, we entertain kids.
Yeah.
The TV, we're entertaining them.
Yeah.
Were you bored as a kid?
All the
Well, it had
time.
nothing to do.
No, but I mean, I would say I was...
with the kid, little theatre, he's bored.
No, I would say I was bored, but then my mother would either send me outside or give me a clap, and then I'd find something to entertain myself.
That's right. But look what they do today. They put them in front of the TV.
Yeah.
And then they get...
From an
the kids
early
are quiet,
age, right?
Very early.
Much too early for their brains to be able to cope
Crazy.
with it.
And you know, it messes up everything from the occupational therapy, their posture, and the manner of speaking. I also ask parents, why so many kids in speech therapy these days? Nobody gives me an answer. Kids don't talk.
TV.
They whine, mumble, and nag. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And all you got to say to get, listen, sweetheart, I've gone deaf. Do you want to go to your room and practice how to speak properly and then come and ask me? Or do you want to ask me?
Again,
Parents
giving
could-
them a choice.
Yeah, but not only that, rather you can avoid so much therapy by just knowing what to do. Kids don't sit up; they do this.
Yeah.
And it affects the way they talk. It's an impulsivity. These things are all connected.
And I'm not going to hire people who sit like that.
Yeah, and all kids sit like that.
I'm not going to hire, I don't even want to talk to people
No.
like that. If I see you in a public place and you're sitting like this, I don't want anything to do with you.
All
Full
kids do
stop.
that.
You might be you might be Einstein, and I'm not interested in meeting you.
Exactly. I'll tell you a funny story. It was only yesterday, actually. I had a family, and there was the one kid who was a bit of a naughty kid. And he was sitting there. We did all the structures, and eventually he said, when are we going home? I said, we're going home if you can sit in that chair 5 minutes without fidgeting. He couldn't make 1 minute.
Yeah.
And he was like this all over the couch,
Yeah.
flopping all over. It was mind-blowing.
But
And I
those
saw
people
the
are
parents saw
now,
that.
they're in the workforce.
Exactly. But remember, the workforce, the resilience is not there. They want to be managing directors within a week.
Straight away.
Yeah. And we're not letting them kids battle. There's no grit. And at the end of the day, why? Because they're so dependent. They give up easily. Mom, help me with my homework, all of that stuff.
All right, so we've now decided that there are all of these factors that you've brought up, some of which I found fascinating and some of which are amazing because they're common sense, but I go, oh, wow, it's such a breakthrough thing to hear that because you've experienced this is what you deal with every day. So we're not going to assign blame here, but what can we do to correct all of this? What do you think is the appropriate age, for example, that parents should allow their kids to start interacting with these screens, whether it's an iPad or they can have their own phone? I've heard from parents who I think are doing the best job they can, and that is subjective, but I think these parents are getting it right largely. They refuse to let their kids have their own phones until they are 16 at least. Do you think that's probably a good age?
The kids are watching their friends' phones.
At like 10.
They're watching the porn. They're doing a lot of things behind their parents' back because all their friends have got phones.
Yeah.
The key to it is how do we get kids to self-manage? So from a young age, if you're going to give a 3-year-old, and to me, kids under the age of 4 should only watch a big TV. Because a kid of 2, and they say it affects their eyes as well, you have a look, watching a tiny
you don't
cell
develop
phone.
depth perception.
And at the end of the day, and they're not sitting up properly.
No.
They're flopping all over the show. So, and the same with iPads. So at the end of the day, but if there's a TV, they've got to sit up. If they flop, it means they want to go to their room. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're teaching them from a young age the right thing because their posture goes and everything else. So at the end of the day, this is what we've got to try and help parents how important it is. Don't miss a beat with the manners. Make sure they're talking to you properly. They're sitting up when they're eating with a knife and fork. Instead of 3 years, it's OT. These kids go to, but nothing much changes because nobody's actually helping the parent.
Yeah, Leanne just went, ugh.
Oh,
That's
so
exactly.
irritating.
It's so irritating. So what are the most recurring problems that you're faced with when parents come to you and say, I need help, I can't manage this, it's such a disaster, my kid is a mess, or I'm a bad parent? Because a lot of parents do take responsibility, so let's be fair too. Those are probably the ones who are coming to you.
But
So what are the most regular and repetitive problems that you encounter?
They're anything these days. They're not coping, they pretend. And it's quite interesting. They'll say some things about their kid and then always feel bad, thinking, I'm going to think their kid's naughty. And they'll always say, but he's a good kid. You know?
Yeah, well.
So at the end of the day, I said, no. You do, and I generalize a lot because I don't want them to feel.
Yes.
I said, this is what we found generally with kids that are not cooperating. They tend to opt out. They only like to do what they like to do. That if they can't win, they'd rather not play.
Mm-hmm.
They don't take challenges. All of these sort of things. They're too dependent. And then the parents will acknowledge that. We're just doing too much for kids. They never have to sweat about anything. They've just got to have a little... and then we told to spend time. And we lie on their bed with them and we talk about politics.
I can't imagine my mom or dad lying
But this is the sort of... It's the sort of nonsense that they're told to be there, and it's just been ridiculous. They've got to parent their child. They've got to be a manager. That's what they've got to do, not run around their child. These mothers are finished. They're worn out what they don't look like, you know, and because the kids are...
But I think we live in such a unique... It's a bit of a crossover, South Africa, in so many ways, because we do have parents who are doing that. They're in their kids' every waking moment, right? They're making decisions for them about simple stuff like how much milk to put in their Rice Krispies. And these kids are coddled and they're helicopter parented to death. But then we've also got parents who just have left their kids to be raised in the wild. There are parents in this country who have absolutely no interest in forming their children's basic foundations. They just, as soon as they can walk out on the street with you, get out there, make it happen, and hustle. And if you can't have a job before you're 10, then I'm going to sell you to the highest bidder. They are. I mean, parenting goes from the sublime to the ridiculous in South Africa. What happened to the basic idea of the middle ground, trying your best but not overdoing it? What's responsible for this?
I think the university, to be honest with you, all of a sudden they got these different sort of therapists where the whole idea was there's nothing much you can do as a parent. They got ADHD. Opposition defiance. Only we can fix it. They need medication. The parents have been given that message that it's not them. And then they need to be referred, shame they've got autism, which is a spectrum. Nobody knows what causes these things. And I'm not saying they don't have autism.
Mm-hmm.
It's symptomatically diagnosed, all of these things.
Yeah.
And often there's a lot of guesswork. Well, what does a parent do if they're not helped? They make allowances. Shame he's got ADHD, so let him watch another half hour of TV. Or he's jumping up and down, well, he's ADHD. So it's an excuse for not having to do anything. Put down boundaries, consequences, spell out rules, all of that stuff. The parents aren't being helped with that. So they're parenting sort of trial and error rather than understanding what they've got to do.
Yeah, well, look, I do have ADHD. And,
And what's it feel like?
and my parents certainly didn't know.
What's it feel like,
was
Leanne?
certainly undiagnosed.
Just
but-
pull your mic a little closer.
There you are.
But
Okay.
I think it's an advantage because I just had to do what everybody else did growing up, and
Yeah.
I had to find my own solutions.
All right, so let me tell you, because I've had quite a lot of success with it. ADHD is symptomatically diagnosed, but kids are still making choices. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
So it's not like they have brain damage and they start tap dancing. They do understand. Now if you've got a mom that's jumping up and down with an ADHD kid, mothers with ADHD kids themselves are very anxious. So yeah, your principal
They're feeling
caregiver,
it.
of course, without realizing it. And then dad's also having a hard time. Then the kid's sleeping in their bed. So, what their intimate life's going to be like. So at the end of the day, there's a huge stress that just filters through. But what I found the key, because I had a lot of success, is that the common feedback I get from parents, the house calms down. And I try to work out if the house calms down, it's because the parents have calmed down. The kids calm down. Now, something happens in that connection with parents that helps the child calm down. And it's the way we talk to kids. And I had a very can I give you a case study? Because it was really quite fascinating. Now, the kids that poo in their pants, called encopresis. I had a little 11-year-old, never used the toilet. At school, at home.
Poo in his pants the whole time.
Poo all the time. And she was already old enough to
I know
hide
adults like that.
Yeah, they're full of it, So what happened is that the same thing, I got involved with the parents, telling them what they do, and the parents are finished that have a kid doing that. They become like bloodhounds. They've taken them everywhere. And if you ever look at the research, nobody knows what to do about this. Anyway, so the little kid sorted it out, and I said to her, listen, sweetheart, the good news is going to be able to poo in your pants forever. Nobody's going to say one word, it's totally your job. And I use the same thing what I did before. But 1-year-olds poo in their pants. And I use the same thing. So if you want to go back to grade RRR, eat the baby food, etc., it's totally up to you. Nobody's going to get worried about it. Nobody's going to be upset. You must decide. You want to go back to grade RRR, or would you rather be 11 and not poo in your pants? No, she was going to be 11. Within a day, she had stopped. But what was interesting, I'd learned more from that. She went to her mom, and she said, Mom, I'm so pleased that I'm peeing my pants. Which meant there was some in that communication with his frustrated parent that was triggering something. And it was just amazing. And she was old enough to understand. And it was really...
That's interesting.
There's something that changes in the way we
I
connect.
wonder what that could have been that changed her. I mean, obviously your question to her is the catalyst, but what could have made it impossible for her to just learn that at the age that it was appropriate to learn to use the loo?
But those
Was it
parents,
a chaotic household?
Yes, the household's in chaotic.
Okay,
And then
so
they start.
they're shouting at
They're
each
shouting
other.
at each
There's
other.
noise. There's
Exactly.
no calmness.
And the parents then pretend to be calm. And the
Yeah.
kids, they got to check on the kids' brooks every day. It's a nightmare. An absolute. And then they take them everywhere. They're spending money and nothing works. It works for a while, but it doesn't work permanently.
But basically, they've got to just calm
That's it.
down.
You won't have those problems if you're doing the job. Those are just...
What is the role in your explanation and your understanding of child rearing, parenting? What is the role of discipline, and when do kids learn to self-discipline?
It's from birth. You've got to have routine. There's like this little kid that wants to grab something and they can't get it. As a matter of fact, I'll give you an example. I had a mom She phoned me just actually about 3 days ago. Her 7-month-old goes nuts. She's got to have the mother there all the time, and she screams and screams and screams. The mom doesn't know. And I just said to her, look, she's become far too dependent on you. But how would you manage it? So all you got to do, that's 7 months old, is when she cries, it means she wants dad. And you got to stay calm. Dad comes in. Where the kid will learn, if I'm on mom, I've got to not cry. So they're starting to learn at a young age because they can't express themselves, but that's a consequence. So the moment there's that screaming and shouting, oops, dad, come in, and mom and dad are calm. Not mom, I've just had enough of this child, and carrying on like that. Because the moment kids see that you've lost it, they put their boots in, I can tell you. And we're not knowing how to do that, staying calm. And I mean, parents say to me, gee, I can't believe how their kids change. I said, no, you've changed. Kids don't change. When the parents change and they know what they're doing, there's change with the kids, which is interesting. Yeah. And today it's all about the kids.
All right, so the real reason I brought you here was Leanne is obviously not a child anymore, but what can we do? I mean,
what did she like to do? It's her choice.
Well, I mean, you heard about the ADHD.
But you see, even with that, it comes down to a choice. It's not, and that's how I have to speak to myself at home. I give myself a choice. You can either do the washing or you can unpack the dishwasher.
Yeah.
Which one's it going to be?
Yeah.
Not, you must unpack the dishwasher, then you must do the washing, then you must do that. You give yourself choices as you go along.
That's a cool game to play.
But when you're a kid, you can also have a choice. If they're starting to do that, boy, you want to scream and shout with pleasure, but only in your bedroom. When you're feeling better, you come out. So you talk to them properly, not that starting that scream thing, or not go and watch the TV.
Right.
Because if the house is calm, you minimize ADHD. And the one twin was definitely an ADHD when I met my wife. And it was unbelievable what we were able to do. And they're all doing amazingly well now. And it wasn't because we were special, but we made it easy.
To wrap this up, because I see we're out of time here, and I'm sure people are going to want to hear more from you, so we must find out where we can get the info and where people can contact you if they need to. There's bound to be parents who are going, oh my God, I need all the help from this man I can get. How do you know you've won as a parent? Like, what's the end? We said there's no perfect formula, and I agree with you. There's no perfect child. There's no perfect parent. Nobody's going to get it right 100% of the time. But what do parents say when they feel like they've done the best job possible? Or what do they see in their child? Like, what's the end game? What are the victory conditions?
The end game, we're mammals. Mammals bring their young up to go into life. Be independent, cope. That is what our job is. You've got to teach kids to fly. So the thing is where they're going without feeling guilty, how much we've done for them, how little they appreciated us, etc. Because that's a horrible thing. And that's what we able to succeed with the twins. I mean, they went into life self-motivated. I'm not married anymore. They don't feel any guilt. I didn't lay anything onto them.
Right.
They were free to be themselves.
Don't burden your children with
Unconditional
your
love.
stuff. But if they can be independent adults who can go and make the world a little bit better.
Yes, but you don't want to be a mother. Yeah, but you don't want to be a mother-in-law that's got to go and visit her every day. and then drive the poor daughter's feeling so guilty. And then the husband wants to kill the mother-in-law. And
I know lots of people who have a guilt-type relationship with their parents. And that's really awful.
And it can go on and on and on until,
it ruins them. I'm dealing
your
with
parents
adults.
are old.
No, and then, but that damages you for life. You know, you don't realize if you have no confidence, if your parent neglected you, no self-belief, wanting to, scared, all of those sort of things. It all comes from very dominating parents that are judgmental.
So where can people get hold of you if they want some of this excellent advice and they want to bring their kids to you?
Well, would you?
I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. Let's just talk about that before we give out the details. You've been doing this for years. You've helped thousands of kids.
Parents.
Parents and kids.
No, the kids automatically.
The kid you say will come right automatically.
The kids automatically come right. It's unbelievable. I'm telling you, it's like there's some magic thing. And what I want to do, what I'm trying to do, you know, this. You've heard of neurodiversity, this latest thing.
Yes.
We won't go about the brain. So the kids have an EEG.
Yeah.
And then the therapist is supposed to think like the kid's thinking, because their wiring's gone a bit wrong. And the idea is if we can think how they're thinking, they want to learn. where they got that stuff from, I don't know, because learning is a choice.
Surely this is a problem because they've determined what mental health looks like.
But I don't like that word, mental health.
No. But I'm saying here in a very general sense, they've told you that anything outside of feeling this way is probably a bad thing. And anything outside of, I mean, there used to be this problem that when we were at school, Leanne, the kid who couldn't concentrate in class, before they'd figured out ADHD or ADD or any of that stuff, you were the gifted kid. You were just given more work. You were basically given extra school. You had to stay a little bit longer and you had to go to extra maths or whatever. Just keep your mad head busy, right? So we probably had to do it. I had to do it.
Yeah.
And you still wouldn't concentrate. You still would be distracted by everything. But they just gave you more to do and claps if you didn't do it.
Yeah. But you see the underlying anxiety was hectic with that kid. You see, and one of the things
I didn't have anxiety though. I just got used to the claps.
Yeah, but that's a pleasure. If you enjoy being clapped,
that's
cigarettes.
Exactly.
But what am I going to say? So I've had quite a lot of success with these neurodiverse kids, which is really interesting because I really like some research done. Because the only thing that changed with them is the parents calm down. Now, if the kids are calming down, something's changing in their brain. Because they see there's something wrong with them. And they do know that the brain networking can change. That they've shown with neuroscience.
You see, you've already helped us for free this morning by telling us
really
about the calm thing.
Yeah.
That's so important.
That's it. And it's unbelievable. So there's something the way we talk to kids that calms them down. I don't know what it is exactly, but it's like...
and a calm kid is going to turn out to be a better adult.
Absolutely. Because they'll handle it. They're making decisions. They don't have that anxiety. They don't have this not coping with life sort of thing. They deal with disappointment. You know?
All right, where can people get hold of you?
So, I suppose have a look at my website, which is smartchoiceparenting.co.za.
Smartchoiceparenting.co.za.
Yeah, and there's quite a lot of
Fantastic.
stuff there. All my details there as well. My phone number.
Good.
Okay.
Well, we can just send people to the website. That's the best thing to do.
That's
Smartchoiceparenting.com. And thank you very much. .co.za. Sorry. Okay, there we go. .co.za. Thank you so much for your time, and we appreciate you getting up and coming to join us so early in the morning on this cold Monday.
Yeah, no, it wasn't bad.
As we will see you on a Friday soon.
Yes.
It's going to happen.
See
It
you
starts
around.
from next week. And thank you for joining us this morning, and thank you for all the very, very funny things that have been said in the last half hour in the comments section. I haven't been able to get to any of those because I had so many questions for Dr. Resnick myself, but we'll get to them. And as you know, we'll pick up the slack on Wednesday morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. Thank you, Flex. Thank you, Ketsi. And thank you to you. We'll see you on Wednesday.
You're simply the best. You're better than all the rest. You're better than anyone. Each time you leave me, I start losing control. Walking away with my heart and my soul.